This is MSR TV6 15 Minutes News. In the headlines, government official in Sandy Ground on Chikungunya awareness campaign. Man shot in leg, shooter turned himself in. Senior citizens stroll through Front Street. These stories with much more details coming up right after this.
MSR Cable TV, simply the best.
Prefect Philip Shopping and President of the Collectivité, Mrs. Aline Hansen, together with several other institutions, a delegation from St. Barthélemy and members of the ARS visited the Sandy Ground area on Friday to educate the population and bring awareness to the chikungunya epidemic. Several residents in the area was revisited to make sure the occupants of these residents are adhering and keeping up with the procedures that was presented to them concerning the safety procedures of diminishing mosquito breeding. MSR reporter was on site and spoke with Prefect Philip Shopping and President of the Collectivité, Mrs. Aline Hansen.
To explain to the population how they're supposed to do to protect themselves against mosquitoes. So we saw a cistern in the back there that has golomine. Golomine are those little fishes that can eat the mosquitoes. And we see that there they have golomine and that there is no mosquitoes rushing out from the cistern. So we have to know that in our cistern, we have to put this animal to be able to diminish the amount of mosquitoes. And even if you want to keep, let's say, water, we can keep the water, but to make sure that the water is well covered and well protected. Okay, we are here to make sure that this epidemic doesn't increase. Okay, because you have to know that if the mosquito choke someone and then choke another person, in this area of Sandy Ground right now we have a lot of cases. So we have to make sure that everything is protected, that the persons is clean around the area. You know, about 50 meters around their household, that they keep their clean and they maintain it clean, and they make sure that there is no water settled. And even if they want to put water, because we know for a fact that water is expensive, l'eau coûte cher, water is expensive. But you have to make sure that the water that is kept is well keeping. Make sure that it's covered with a piece of cloth, and make sure that the spouts are clean, and make sure that if there is a old kind of area also, that is olka, you put like holes in it for the water not to settle and for it to go down.
Le message, il y a une protection qui est exercée par l'État, la collectivité, l'ARS. C'est une pulvérisation le soir. Ça, c'est très efficace. Mais la plus efficace des protections, c'est ce qu'on vient de dire ici aux gens, c'est la protection individuelle. Donc c'est ce qu'on disait avec des moyens individuels, des répulsifs. Protéger les alentours, tuer les larves, tuer les moustiques. Ça, c'est ça qui est le plus efficace. Donc on vient dire à la population, essayez de vous protéger vous-même. Pour la population la plus démunie, on a quelques moustiquaires à distribuer ou des produits répulsifs à distribuer. Et aux autres, on leur dit, allez acheter des répulsifs, protégez vos enfants, portez des vêtements longs le soir quand il y a le plus de moustiques et le matin très tôt. Et on leur dit, l'État ne peut pas tout faire, l'État fait tout ce qu'il peut avec la collectivité, avec l'ARS, mais ce qui est le plus efficace, c'est de vous protéger vous-même.
ARS representative Mr. Hansen also elaborated more on the visit in the Sandy Ground area.
Well, the objective for Sandy Ground is because actually the most cases are located in Sandy Ground actually. The chikungunya started out in Oyster Pond, then moved into French Quarter area, and actually in Sandy Ground. We try to organize this operation that we call coup de poing, as to instead of simply asking the people to come toward us, we go toward them this time. And that's what we did this morning. We went with the prefect and the president of the collectivité. And we have about 6 to 4 teams of 4 guys dispatched all over that are going and giving passing around the message of awareness, how to protect yourself, how to protect the breeding site, get rid of all containers that retain water. And also mostly to explain to people that the same mosquito that transmit the dengue is the same mosquito that transmit the chikungunya.
President of the Sandy Ground District, Mr. George Richardson, better known as Beige, also expressed his concern about the health situation in Sandy Ground.
What is taking place here in Sanagong today, as you know, that it is no secret. We have a problem, some sickness that is called chugunda or something like that there. Chikungunya, and then they say that came from the mosquitoes. When you look at the geography of Sanagong, where they're saying that Sanagong and French Quarter are the most places that have been affected with that, it only will be most important that you have the authorities here so they can get at first hand what needs to be done in order for us to eradicate the situation. St. Martin is so small that if one area of St. Martin is affected of anything, by the time you count 1, 2, the other side of the country will be affected. So it is important, yes, that we have all the authorities and Monsieur Chopin, the Prefet, the President of the collectivity, Madame Hassan Aline, and the DAS, so that they can come to get a car. We have the responsibility of making sure that we can keep this island very healthy. The healthiness of this of the island will depends on having the tourists coming to the country. Tourists is not going to come to our country if it is not healthy. But in saying that, it shows us today that we have a lot of work to do in Sanagong in order for us to bring Sanagong to what we believe. When you look around, we see that Sanagong is dirty.
The detective department is presently investigating a shooting incident which took place on Thursday, March 12, approximately 8 p.m. at a bar located on the Yuancho-Yorskin Boulevard opposite the Sol gas station in Point Blanche. According to the victim, who said he was standing in front of a bar when a man who he knows and with whom he had problems in the past drove up in a vehicle and fired 2 shots at him. The second shot hit him in the upper leg, which started to bleed quite heavily. After committing the act, the suspect drove away. The victim further stated that he immediately stepped into his car and drove to his home, for where the police and paramedics were notified. The victim was treated by the paramedics and then transported to the St. Martin Medical Center for further medical treatment. The forensic department was on the scene, taking pictures and collecting evidence to piece together how this shooting actually took place. The suspect in this case turned himself in on Friday, March 13 at approximately 1 p.m. He was arrested at the Phillipsburg Police Headquarters and will remain in custody pending further investigation. On Wednesday, the police department continued the control of unpaid road taxes. The control started at 7 a.m. on several locations and continued until 12 p.m. During the controls, a total of 40 vehicles were towed and 65 fines were issued. A stern warning goes out to those drivers who have not yet paid their road taxes for 2014. There will be no more warning or chances given to them. No adhering to this warning will have consequences that your vehicle will be towed and impounded and you will receive a fine. With lots of wheelchairs and umbrellas, Home Away from Home, taking care of the Golden Age Foundation, organized its second annual walk stroll for senior citizens yesterday in collaboration with St. Martin Vocational Training School. The students of the St. Martin Vocational Training School were also present to help push in the wheelchairs as part of their learning experience. St. Martin Vocational Training School drum band students also gave a spectacular performance for the senior citizens as they walked stroll through the front street, which started at the Sea Palace Hotel. The walk stroll ended at the government building, where seating for the senior citizens had been arranged with a canopy, which they sat and listened to various presentations, including organizer and president of the Home Away from Home Foundation, Ms. Patricia Flanders. Several government elected officials, including Honorable Prime Minister Sarah Westcott Williams, Minister of Education, Youth Affairs and Culture, Mrs. Patricia Lawrence Phillips, Minister of Health, Cornelius De Wever, and Minister of Romy, Maurice Lake. A special plaque was presented by the Prime Minister to Ms. Patricia Flanders for her dedication to the seniors.
The elderly. While many strides have been made by government and by the many associations who look after you, provide for you, take care of you, it is obvious that there's still a lot more to be done for the elderly in our community. Just this morning, a report in one of the local newspapers indicated some of the sentiments and the conditions that our elderly live in on St. Martin. And so, on behalf of the government of St. Martin, and speaking for all of the different ministries, I can tell you that the government will continue to look at those matters that affect especially our elderly, and together with the different organizations that look after you and take care of you, to continue to create the type of environment that will make us proud of having our elderly live in. And that is a friendly environment, a clean environment, an environment in which you would not have to go sleep wondering about how to face the next day. These are things when we talk about building country St. Martin that we need to take into consideration as well.
We cannot have a society in which we do not honor those who have gone before us. And so on behalf of my ministry, even though it is a ministry related to youth, you can't get to your age unless you had a good youth. And so even when you are a youth, we still need the elderly to give us direction. And so I will call upon this community today to cherish the elderly persons that we have, to listen to them for their wisdom and their guidance, because they have walked this path before and they know it better than we do.
St. Martin is not the same when you grew up. The quality of life has changed somewhat, and I believe we all have a responsibility to make it better. I believe that the Orania School, the Mac School, as well as the St. Joseph School displayed their love and respect for you. I would like to join them in this expression, and rest assured that whatever I can do to make it better, I will. The transportation services pilot project that was offered for 2 months to see how it went was a success, and it was decided, I have decided that it will continue. So look forward to Accessible Ventures providing that service to you in the future.
The elected official, who, during their speech, made many promises to the seniors for them to have a better living and more comfortable and a cost-friendly life.
One thing I have to say, you have some very strong leadership. You have Patsy Flanders. You also have Violet Lake. It's Violet Lake, correct? From the Hope Estate. And you got to give him a very, how would I say, really continue doing the good works for the seniors. Got to have a lot of activities and events for them. So as I came in, the first thing I did is make sure that we provided the proper facilities for the seniors at John Lamini. The next step was making sure that the seniors have, I signed a building permit so we could build more affordable homes for the seniors of St. Martin, which I already started the groundbreaking.
During the walk stroll, senior citizens as old as 94 participated. The Sonesta Maho Beach Resort and Casino organized its second annual 2-day job fair, which started on Thursday and will end on Friday. The concept behind the job fair is to help persons who are looking to start a career or seeking new job opportunities in the hospitality industry, and where candidates will be given the opportunity to apply for job vacancies. MSR reporters spoke to Head of Human Resource Department, Mrs. Patricia Flown.
We're here today at Sonesta Maho. We are having a job fair where we are offering opportunity island-wide to the community at large. We're offering job opportunity. We are introducing all of our departments, and this is basically a pre-interview. This is not promised, but of course during the interview there's a possibility that you would have someone that is extremely, that deserve the position or whatever, and we would offer them the opportunity that maybe they can be hired on the spot, or they can be, but all the interviews or all the applications will be reviewed, and they would be given an opportunity to come back and to meet with the department heads, and
Well-known dancehall artist Vybz Kartel, born Adeja Palmer, was found guilty on Thursday of murdering his former associate Clive Lizard Williams. The news of his guilty verdict sent shockwave throughout the dancehall community as the entertainer is looking at spending the rest of his life behind bars. Our 11-member jury took just 2 hours in the deliberation before returning a 10-1 verdict, but was sent back by the presiding judge Lennox Campbell to deliberate further in hope that they would reach an unanimous verdict. Vybz Kartel, Sean, Storm Campbell, Kyra Jones, and Andre St. John were all found guilty, while co-accused Shane Williams was acquitted of the murder. Jamaica authorities stunned everyone when they swooped down on a hotel in Kingston on September 30th, 2011 and arrested Vybz Kartel and several other men, where weeks later, Vybz Kartel was slapped with the 2 murder charges. Justice Campbell took 6 days to give the 11-member jury his summation of the lengthy murder trial and asked the jury not to find the artist guilty based on the contents of his lyrics, but to focus solely on the evidence presented by the prosecution. Vybz Kartel and his co-accused are facing life imprisonment for the murder. This has been MSR TV6 15 Minutes News. We want to thank you for viewing. Until next time.